Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Look, today we are embarking on a really fascinating transformation of how we think about low-carb cooking. If you've ever felt like, cutting carbs basically means cutting all the absolute joy right out of your meals, well, you are in the perfect place. We're going to take you on the ultimate low-carb culinary journey, and we're using real recipes, science-backed nutrition data, and some incredibly clever culinary hacks to do it.
Let's just be honest for a second, because we have all been there. You commit to a low-carb lifestyle, and suddenly, what happens? You're staring longingly at a bowl of pasta, or you're dreaming about a massive slice of pizza, or you're just desperately missing that rich, thick gravy over a Sunday roast. I completely get that struggle. Giving up your absolute favorite comfort foods, it's hands down the hardest part of making a dietary change. But here's my promise to you today. By the end of this explainer, we are going to completely demystify and solve that exact problem. No way are you going to have to miss out on those textures and flavors ever again.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for today. First up, why we actually crave carbs. Second, simple everyday carb swaps. Third, the keto secret to thickeners. Fourth, global and vegan options. And finally, lightning fast 30-minute dinners. Let's get to it. Section 1. Craving carbs, busting the bland food myth. There's this massive stigma out there that going low-carb means you literally have to sacrifice all flavor. But as our sources show, eating well is actually all about smart culinary science, not just suffering through plain steamed chicken and broccoli every single night. Moving on to Section 2. Simple everyday carb swaps, one-to-one replacements. Now, to really master this lifestyle, we have to start with the foundational skills. The goal here isn't to reinvent the wheel, right? It's just to smartly replace those high-carb vehicles that deliver all the flavors you already love. Think about your traditional carb-heavy carriers like hard taco shells and thick burger buns. Now, compare those to our ingenious low-carb heroes, crisp, fresh lettuce wraps and big, hearty portobello mushrooms. Honestly, this is the aha moment for so many home cooks. By using direct vegetable replacements, you instantly eliminate a massive amount of carbs. But, and this is absolutely crucial, you keep the entire joy of eating handheld, messy, wonderful foods. You're still getting the satisfying crunch of a taco and that great savory two-handed grip of a juicy burger. Now, let's take that concept and elevate it with a genuinely genius prep method for zucchini enchiladas. Look, if you have ever tried rolling raw zucchini, you know exactly what happens. It just snaps and cracks, right? It's a mess. But check out this technique from the sources. First, slice your zucchini nice and thin. Second, and guys, this is the real magic here, microwave those slices wrapped in a paper towel for just 45 to 60 seconds. This makes them perfectly firm, but super pliable. Finally, you just roll them up with a gooey, cheesy mix of chicken, black beans, corn, and spices. You get literally all the comfort of bubbling hot enchiladas without a single heavy tortilla in sight. It's a total game changer. All right, Section 3. Thickeners, the keto secret to mastering sauces and gravies. We are now scaling up to what is arguably the trickiest hurdle for any low-carb cook. How do we capture the comforting magic of thick soups and rich gravies without relying on traditional flour or cornstarch?
To understand why this matters so much, we really have to look at the numbers. 25 grams. That is the shocking reality of traditional cornstarch. Just a single ounce contains over 25 grams of carbohydrates. So if you're on a strict ketogenic diet, that one innocent-looking ladle of gravy, it can instantly blow your entire carb allowance for the whole day. It is essentially 100% pure carbohydrate. Clearly, we need a better way.
Now, what's really interesting is when you contrast that massive number with this, 0 grams. Specifically, we're talking about the near-zero net carbs you get in a serving of ground flaxseed. This right here is the absolute beauty of finding alternatives that don't rely on carbohydrate derivatives just to bind your food together. By looking to natural dietary fibers and seeds, we can achieve the exact same culinary result, but with a completely different, fully keto-approved nutritional profile. Let's just quickly walk through a handy little mental cheat sheet here to see how different low-carb alternatives interact with liquids and heat. First up, glucomannan. It's derived from the konjac plant, and it's a completely tasteless fiber that's absolutely perfect for thickening soups. Next, almond flour. Fantastic for baking and breading, giving you that beautiful golden crust, though it is a bit too cloudy for clear sauces. For those glossy, clear sauces, xanthan gum is going to be your best friend. Get this, you literally only need a tiny half teaspoon to thicken a whole batch. And finally, ground flaxseed is an absolute powerhouse for binding ingredients together. It even acts as a brilliant substitute for eggs in recipes like meatballs. I do also want to neutrally report on a pretty interesting debate happening within the low-carb community regarding arrowroot powder. Our sources note that arrowroot is a phenomenal thickener, especially for highly acidic dishes where regular cornstarch completely fails, or in recipes like a hearty Cajun gumbo where you really need a good roux. However, because a single teaspoon still packs about 4 to 5 grams of carbs, extremely strict keto dieters might avoid it entirely. On the flip side, more liberal low-carb eaters totally embrace it. As always, it really just comes down to finding exactly what fits your specific macronutrient goals. Moving into Section 4, Global and Vegan Options. Flavor without borders. A super common fear is that going low-carb traps you into just eating, plain steaks and eggs forever. But let's see how these rules apply beautifully to incredibly diverse and even entirely plant-based diets. Seriously, just listen to some of these exciting vegan adaptations. We've got fluffy cauliflower rice forming the base for nutrient-packed Buddha bowls. There's this amazing spicy tofu, marinated overnight in sesame oil and ginger garlic paste to just absolutely amplify the flavor. We have mashed beans stepping right in as a hearty side instead of heavy potatoes. We've got thick, beautifully roasted cauliflower steaks topped with a zesty almond salsa and this wonderfully comforting Indian cabbage and squash sabzi. This completely proves that a plant-based, low-carb diet is incredibly rich in both complex flavors and really satisfying textures. And building on that whole global theme, our sources highlight some incredibly vibrant dishes too. We're talking tender Mexican carnitas, super rich Indian butter chicken, and fragrant Thai fish curry. The real secret here, it's about relying on deeply rich spices, healthy fats like coconut milk, and those secret thickeners we just talked about, like xanthan gum. This completely allows you to recreate incredibly diverse ethnic foods and just enjoy them over a bed of zucchini noodles or cauliflower rice entirely without the carb guilt. How great is that? All right, Section 5, quick 30-minute dinners. Putting it all together. Now it's time for the ultimate practical application. Let's utilize literally everything we've learned today to execute some lightning fast meals. Because let's be real, you need dinner on the table in 30 minutes or less. Get ready to be inspired and, probably a little hungry too. Just imagine juicy, sizzling sheet pan shrimp fajitas with perfectly tender peppers. Picture golden, crunchy, bang-bang chicken tenders drizzled in this amazing spicy homemade sauce. Or how about a bubbling, creamy Tuscan chicken skillet just loaded with spinach and mushrooms? Or the viral sensation of keto smash burger tacos cooked right onto low-carb tortillas. And finally, perfectly seared chimichurri steak bites, tossed in a super zesty garlic and herb sauce. Guys, all of these pack maximum flavor, they utilize all our low-carb hacks, and they are ready before you can even get takeout delivered. So, what does this all mean? The absolute crucial point to take away is this. Low-carb cooking is not a limitation at all. It's honestly a culinary invitation to get creative. We've covered the smart ingredient swaps, the secret thickeners, and some amazing global applications. Now, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Which high-carb favorite are you going to hack first? Take these secrets, step confidently into your kitchen, and just start experimenting. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy cooking!